So you don't think Jesus is coming soon? I do. You know, I fell asleep with the news on, you know, and the other day, the other day was an okay morning, but a bad evening because uh, I turned the lights out to sleep, which I'm not supposed to do, and I had a little mini seizure, and I didn't I didn't bite the crap out of my tongue like I sometimes do, but it, nonetheless, it was unpleasant. It was unpleasant. So it was like I was it was like I was trapped in sleep and couldn't wake up, you know. And I have several sisters who are narcoleptic. I have one sister that she'll sleep for days, days on end. She's been that way ever since she was a little girl. She went to the Peace Corps. I believe she got a good case of parasites because they can live with you for your entire life. But in any case, it was a bad it was a bad evening and a bad night. So as soon as I got a little bit of consciousness going, man, I got those lights turned on, and it was storming. Also, that may have had something to do with it. I'm not going to spend a whole. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time this morning in the wheelchair. I'm just going to have a bagel with some cream cheese and my coffee in my Justin cup. A few of you sent me some things. I haven't had a chance to unbox them. I will do a mail call, Lord willing, in the next day or two. I will unbox them and do a mail call. So I do appreciate everything that you all send me, though. I'm gonna double up on my bagels so that I don't use too much cream cheese. I'm desperately trying to cut down on things. So as I was turning in last night, the news came up with an article from Florida, and this baby daddy, Killed, the little boy's mother, and they found her in an apartment, Stabbed, and so the little boy went missing, and he was all the way down at the other southern end of Florida, you know, and he had been fed to a crocodile or an alligator. 2-year-old little boy, the man whacks his mother, and then either drops the little boy off in a swamp, knowing that the little boy's going to get eaten, or they haven't done the autopsy yet. They got to find out if the boy was still alive when the alligator ate him. But how evil do you have to be to do something like that? And see, the church wants to be more like society, so they don't mention the covenant relationship with man and God, that God will provide if you're in covenant with him, and you don't have to kill your family. But they're too busy telling people, I'm okay, you're okay, Jesus loves you. And it's a watered down Christianity that doesn't talk about the blood of Jesus, the cleansing blood that sets people free of their addictions and things. Or the fact that if you've accepted God's gift of grace, that he will provide for you. This month, I ran out of everything. I ran out of coffee, bed pads, old people supplies, everything. And then one day, God turned it all around. It started pouring in. And ever since my benefits got cut, when the Social Security lady talked to me, she said, well, what are you going to do? I told her, I said, if I get a meal, I'll thank God for it. If I don't, I won't eat, Simple as that. You could tell she was surprised when I told her that over the phone. And I've been bedridden for 4.5 years. And this one person from SSI, hey, Wilma, this one person from SSI claimed that they had had a meeting with me and determined that I didn't need anything. So I told the other lady, I said, well, that wasn't true. And I said, the thing that bothers me is that this person caused me harm by not telling the truth. But I said, the person lied about having a meeting with me. How many other times has this person done that? They were never disciplined or anything. That's why our government doesn't work. All these people from the top down in government, and they make these horrendous mistakes, they never get replaced or anything like a regular company would do. That's the thing they didn't like about Trump, was that Trump practically had a revolving door on his White House, with people coming and going. You could not run a regular business like we run our government, you'd be out of business quick. I'm telling you, fam, this Fed Now thing is going to be a nightmare. Fed Now allows people to get paid immediately for working, but it also allows people to get taxed immediately for working. So you get paid on the same day you get taxed. And then the onus is on you to try and get your money back from the admin. You know, if they assume that you got paid for something that was like an entertainment thing and they tax it, and then you got to turn around and file to prove that it was a business expense. And for the average person, they're not going to do it. And it's going to be a windfall for the government. It's going to be an absolute windfall. But everything is happening just like the Bible said. This stuff is mark of the beast technology. And like I said, this guy smoking his wife or his girlfriend and then taking the little boy down to South Florida to feed him to an alligator to get rid of the evidence. You know, you got to pray for somebody like that because their soul is definitely in jeopardy. You know, people like that governor of California that says a baby ought to be able to be aborted even after it's born. That's called infanticide. They want a window of opportunity to where you have your baby if you want it. Then you check the baby out to make sure there's no defects, you know. And then if there is a defect that you find, you just go ahead and take a pair of scissors and stick it in the back of the kid's neck and swish the scissors around and then sell the parts to some lab. That's just totally evil. But people don't see it that way. And the next thing that they're going to get rid of is the old people. Be just like Germany. They'll get rid of the old people. Then they'll come after the handicapped people to get rid of the handicapped people. Because anybody who would smoke a baby has no moral compass. And for those of you that think that 45 is going to get back into office and this country's going to turn around, it's never going to happen. They're sending the message to 45 to go ahead and lay down, and they'll at the very worst, if the Dems don't win this time, and Uncle Joe is gumming things up by insisting on running again. He's messing things up for the Dems because they don't want him to run. But if that's the case and the Republicans do get in, they'll pick somebody who's a rhino like Mitt Romney, a type of Mitt Romney, who was a type of a John McCain, and that would be Mike Pence. Mike Pence is very unpopular, so pretty much Ron DeSantis. If anybody gets a Republican nomination, it'll be Ron DeSantis. And he's like right on the borderline of being a rhino. So this country is going to continue to fragment. And you mark my words, fam, I believe sometime in the future that Texas will secede from the Union because they have their own gold, they have their own industry, they have their own power system. They're going to get tired of this border crisis. They're going to close off the borders. They're going to secede from the Union. And they will be the ones that make Donald Trump their president. So, but they're trying to get, Sleepy said that he was the great, uniter of the country. And he's done nothing but set everybody at each other's throats. So, and see, these people, these elites, the globalists, they think on a level that is so above the average person. They're hoping for WAR because they know when all of that stuff gets thrown up into the sky, it'll cool the earth down by about 5 degrees. And it'll KILL most of the Earth's population off from various diseases and starvation and all. And they're trying to use things like CERN to tow that continent out from underneath of the South Pole and repopulate that. There's a great big landmass underneath the ice, and they're trying to coax that away. And they're using CERN as a magnetic, because the Earth's core is iron and it's liquid, and the plates of the Earth float on that core. For example, when I first moved here 11 years ago, the street that I live on was due north and due south. And now if I were to go out into the street with a compass, the compass would read 15 degrees west. And they adjust the satellites and all of that other stuff. They know that this is going on. But they know the average person would say, oh, that's impossible, to use something to try and tow a continent out of place so they could repopulate it. It is possible. And they think that there's even been pyramids on that land that's underneath the ice. So they're very eager to depopulate the rest of the world and get this landmass out into an area of the world where they can start all over again. Total clown world. They're very ambitious. They're very dangerous, and believe me, they are very religious. They're not atheists. They're Luciferians, and they're Fabian socialists, which means that they believe that even in their lifetime, if they can't bring world socialism to the world, that the next generation, their children, will. That's why you have the Clintons and they have their daughter Chelsea. She's being trained with all of the dirty tricks, you know. So all of this stuff is going to keep on going. And if you think it's ever going to be different, I'm sorry to tell you it's not. Pop, pop out.